This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, Kuzma is back in Manila and makes history as first NBA star to bless the Tenement mural. Pinoy Hoops just got put on the map as Koji, Buenaflor and Castillo earned Steph Curry's stamp of approval. Sports Authority of Thailand clarifies that SEA Games 33 gender testing will be the responsibility of sports federations. Coco Gauff fires coach in the run-up to the US Open. Khamzat Chimaev brings belt home and hands it to Chechen strongman Kadyrov, attracting controversy. Salah makes history as first ever three-time PFA Player of the Year. And for F1 fans, our sports correspondent Sheila Salaysay reports on the ladies who bring glamour to the paddock. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 21st of August. Now, here's our roundup. Kuzma, NBA champion, Milwaukee Bucks forward, and yes, the same man who won a ring next to LeBron, just made history as the first NBA star to visit the iconic Tenement mural in Santa Ana. And let me tell you, this wasn't just a cameo, this was a moment. Kuzma didn't just show up, take pictures, and dip. He pulled up to Barangay 901's legendary basketball court, greeted by the people, greeted by Mayor Isko Moreno, greeted by kids screaming his name like a rock star. Then he ran a clinic with the kids, showed off the skills, gave back, and spoke from the heart. He said the Philippines is special, that Manila makes him feel at home, and you could see it in his face. That's not lip service, that's respect. This is what basketball culture is all about. Think about it, the world's so big, but basketball makes it small. And today, Kuzma made Manila feel like the center of the basketball universe. Mayor Isko said it best. This inspired kids to chase their dreams. And he's right, because when Kuzma, an NBA champion, walks into your neighborhood court, that changes everything. This is basketball, this is legacy, and Kuzma just etched his name in the heart of Manila. Now, for Pinoy Hoopers, listen. Steph Curry gives you a shout-out. You don't just smile and move on. You frame that moment. You live it. And right now, two Filipino ballers, 6'7" Koji, Buenaflor, and EAC rookie guard Castillo just got the Curry cosign in China. Buenaflor, UST rookie, showed out in the All-Asia exhibition game. Athletic, versatile, a true small forward who looks built for the modern game. He made enough noise that the greatest shooter of all time had to notice. A shout-out from Steph Curry himself, now that's no small thing. And Castillo, this kid is different. Before he even plays a single NCAA seniors game, he's getting reps with Curry, learning directly from the blueprint. They're calling him a walking bucket, and he proved it, scoring with confidence in front of the chef. This isn't just about two young players. This is about a shift, a culture movement. For years, we've said Filipinos deserve a bigger seat at the basketball table. Now, Curry himself is opening the door. So remember these names, Buenaflor, Castillo, because someday we're going to look back at the Curry Camp 2025 and say, that's the day Filipino basketball arrived. In tennis, everybody's talking about Iga Swiatek and Carlos Alcaraz as the obvious favorites heading into the US Open. Swiatek just ran through Cincinnati without dropping a set. Alcaraz won his 7th final of the year. Yes, they're in form. Yes, the numbers say they're due. But here's the real story. Coco Gauff just sent shockwaves through tennis days before the US Open. She fired Matt Daly, the very coach who helped her win the French Open, and brought in Gavin Macmillan, the man who transformed Aryna Sabalenka's serve and helped push her to world #1 status. Now, this is a risk. You don't shake up your corner hours before the brightest spotlight in tennis unless you feel that something is broken. Gauff hasn't looked the same since Paris. A shock first-round exit at Wimbledon, a quarterfinal slip in Cincinnati. She knows the margin for error is gone. But here's the drama. This is New York. This is the US Open. Gauff is the face of American tennis, and now she's walking into Flushing Meadows with a new voice in her ear. The same guy who engineered Sabalenka's dominance. This, or is this, the master move that gets Coco back on top? Or the gamble that blows up the lights of Arthur Ashe? Stay tuned. Now, this is a flashpoint in Southeast Asian sports. The Sports Authority of Thailand just clarified the gender testing procedures at the 33rd SEA Games won't be one size fits all. No, they're putting it squarely on the individual sports federations. Combat sports, ball games, swimming, track and field, expect testing, shooting, archery. Events where physiology doesn't tip the scale? Probably not. SAT is saying we're only supervising. The international bodies decide. But why does this matter? With a loud call for women's protection in sports, this isn't just about rules. This is about fairness. It is about the battle between inclusion and equal competition. And after global controversies over gender, everybody knows the spotlight is coming to Bangkok this coming December, where this story may just overshadow the medals. In boxing, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis, November 14th, Netflix, Atlanta. Let's just call it what it is. This might not be boxing. This is boxing meets WWE. Boxing meets primetime entertainment. Now, I'm torn because on one hand, Tank Davis is a legitimate pound-for-pound star. He should be fighting Shakur Stevenson. He should be avenging that draw against Lamont Roach. Instead, he's dancing with Jake Paul, a YouTube star turned showman who has made a career out of turning boxing into content. But here's the catch. This is what boxing has now become in 2025. It's not about titles. It's not about legacy. It's about cultural relevance. Who is trending on TikTok? Who lights up the Netflix algorithm? So while the purists are screaming, while the historians roll their eyes, the rest of the world is watching. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis will be the most talked about fight of the year, not because of the belts, but because it shows us the truth. Boxing is no longer a sport. It has become a whole different spectacle. So what do you think? Will Jake Paul shock the world, or will Tank end the circus? After his dominant win against Dricus du Plessis at UFC 319, Khamzat Chimaev claimed the middleweight title and became the first ever Chechen UFC champ. That should be the story, but instead, it's what he did next that has everyone talking. Chimaev flew back to Chechnya with his belt, a national hero. Who was there waiting on the tarmac? None other than Ramzan Kadyrov, the controversial head of Chechnya, a man sanctioned by the US for alleged human rights abuses. And what did Chimaev do? He handed him the belt. To say that this is complicated is an understatement. To the Chechen people, Chimaev is a symbol of pride, a fighter who made it on the world's biggest stage. But handing the belt to Kadyrov, that's not just a photo op, that's a statement. Khamzat Chimaev may be the new king of the octagon, but the second you handed that belt to Kadyrov, he turned the championship into a controversy. And this story is just getting started. Meanwhile, Mo Salah just did what no one else has ever done in English football. He won his third PFA Player of the Year award. Let's put this in perspective. Cristiano Ronaldo never did it, Thierry Henry never did it, not even Kevin De Bruyne. But Salah, the Egyptian king, he's now sitting alone at the top of that mountain. He didn't just win it off reputation either. 33 years old, Premier League's top scorer last season with 29 goals, 18 assists, lifting Liverpool to a league title over Arsenal by 10 points. That's dominance. And the cherry on top, Salah became the first player ever to win the Golden Boot, Playmaker of the Year, and Premier League Player of the Season all in the same campaign. That's a triple crown of attacking brilliance, and nobody else has done it. He still got his doubters, people who whisper about age, about whether he should have gone to Saudi. But instead of cashing out, Salah doubled down, signed that Liverpool extension, and cemented his legacy. Right now, Mo Salah is the greatest player in Liverpool history, and he's still not yet done. In Formula One, reports are circulating that Valtteri Bottas is back, and he will be donning the Team Cadillac suit. Yes, the brand new American team hitting the grid in 2026. Reports are rife that Cadillac has already inked a deal with a former Mercedes star. The announcement? Imminent. The fit almost feels too obvious. Cadillac wants experience, Bottas wants back in. And who better to lead an American project than a guy who spent years going toe-to-toe with Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes? 10 race wins, 20 poles, he's got the resume. Even if he was Robin to Hamilton's Batman. And let's not forget, Bottas has been teasing this all summer. Now remember that June video, him joking about Cadillac seats, saying, not yet, smirking like he knew something the rest of us didn't. Well, guess what? Reports say the seats is now. But here's where it gets juicy. Who gets that second seat? We're talking Sergio Perez. We're talking Mick Schumacher. Even Guan Yu Zhao in the mix. Cadillac isn't coming to play nice. They're coming to shake up the order, steal talent, and crash the party from day one. This is the most ambitious F1 launch we've seen in years. Cadillac wants headlines. And Bottas is the perfect opening act. He's not just a safe hand. He is hungry to prove he wasn't just Hamilton's wingman. 2026 won't just be about Red Bull or Mercedes. The American flag is about to wave loud in the paddock, and it starts with Bottas in a Cadillac. And here's your daily dose of sports lingo. Do you know what garbage time means in basketball? It is the late stage of a game when the outcome is already decided. One team has a big enough lead that the result is no longer in doubt. Coaches often substitute star players out to rest them and give bench players or rookies some minutes. Stats during garbage time are sometimes seen as inflated because the defense isn't playing as hard. Now, it's time for our off-court buzzer. Steph Curry just got a life-sized statue unveiled in China. And let me tell you, it's good. It looks like Steph. But here's the catch. Fans are saying it also looks like his Filipino double, Stepping Curry. Yep, the same guy who's been dropping jumpers in Manila courts, going viral for looking like the baby-faced assassin himself. And now, China's official Steph Curry statue has people saying, wait, did we just immortalize Stepping Curry too? It's hilarious because from some angles, you see Steph, the MVP, the champion, the icon. But from others, it's like, nah, that's the Pinoy Curry, the people's Curry. And here's the best part. Steph had to stand next to it, smiling like, yeah, that's me. Well, this is the first time in his career he's had to share the spotlight with his own lookalike. Well, statues are supposed to immortalize legends. This one, it immortalized too. Steph Curry and Stepping Curry. Only in basketball, folks. Only in Curry's world. And that's our roundup for tonight, the 21st of August. Up next, here's one for the F1 fans. Our sports correspondent Sheila Salaysay reports on the ladies who bring glamour to the paddock. When we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. Formula One is about speed, strategy, and split-second decisions. But arguably, it's also about power, image, and influence. Here's our sports correspondent Sheila Salaysay with a report on the ladies who are lending glamour to the paddock and whose own star power is adding to the Formula One mystique. Time to meet the F1 Wags.
tyres, but Perez was the first one to pit for full wets. And was
When you think about Formula One, you think about speed, engineering, and unforgiving competition. But let's be honest, the sport is as much about image as it is about innovation. And a big part, or you can say at the heart of that image, are the women who stand beside the drivers, the F1 wives and girlfriends. Now, WAG, wives and girlfriends, can sound a little reductive, can't it? But in the paddock, it's a role that holds power. It's about presence. It's about poise. It's about carrying yourself in a way that reflects not just on yourself, but on the driver you're with. And like it or not, this has become part of the fabric of Formula One. Look no further than Max Verstappen. The four-time world champion isn't just known for his unstoppable driving. He's known for his partnership with Kelly Piquet, daughter of a legend, model, influencer, and now a mother to their newborn daughter, Lily. Kelly represents legacy. She is the epitome of a gold standard F1 partner, bringing her own prestige and her own narrative to the paddock. And then there's Charles Leclerc, whose relationship with Alexandra St-Louis has become a case study in how modern influence shapes the sport. An art history influencer, a face that speaks to a younger, more dynamic audience. Alexandra has quietly yet powerfully positioned herself as the other gold standard, elegance in motion. Effortless and deeply connected to the image of one of F1's most marketable drivers. So when you think about the hierarchy of WAGs, yes, Kelly Piquet and Alexandra St-Louis are the benchmark. They set the tone. They define the expectation. But the paddock is full of stories. Oscar Piastri's childhood sweetheart Lily Znaimer, who represents loyalty and longevity in a sport that rarely slows down. George Russell's partner, Carmen Montero Munt, who brings a professional background in media and finance, showing that being an F1 WAG isn't just about looks, but about a kind of social capital that matters in the volatile world of F1. Then there are the younger drivers, like Kimi Antonelli with Eliska Bavitchekova, a former karter herself. Oliver Bearman with Alicia Toriani, connected to the Leclerc family through business, showing how networks and narratives interweave. And let's not forget the more private stories, Yuki Tsunoda's undisclosed relationship. Liam Lawson with Hannah St. John, a graduate student very much outside the influencer spotlight. Jack Doohan with Ebony Zipera, keeping their lives away from social media. These pairings remind us that not every driver plays the image game the same way. But image does matter. It always has in Formula One. Think of Fernando Alonso and Melissa Jimenez, Carlos Sainz and Rebecca Donaldson. They all bring glamour and sophistication that reach far beyond the track. And then there's Alex Albon and Lily Munhe, a power couple bridging golf and Formula One, bringing two global fan bases together. And now, to the newest, most intriguing storyline. Lance Stroll has been spotted holidaying with Yael Shelbia. Now, if that name rings a bell, it's because Yael was crowned the most beautiful face in the world back in 2021, an Israeli model with global appeal. Stroll has had high-profile relationships before. Marilu Villanger, Sarah Pagliaroli, women who were regulars in the Aston Martin camp. But Yael, this is a different level. If she becomes a paddock fixture, her presence alone will draw cameras. She's that rare kind of star who could elevate not just Lance, but the entire Aston Martin image. So, where does that leave us? Perhaps that's the real story here, because in the paddock, there are two gold standards. Kelly Piquet, with her legacy, her influence, her world champion partner, and Alexandra St-Louis, with her modernity, her art, her racing power alongside Charles Leclerc. These two women define the current era of the F1 WAGs: glamour, grace, and global impact. But now, enter Yael Shelbia, a model hailed as the most beautiful face in the world. If her link to Lance Stroll grows stronger, she could be the next name rewriting the hierarchy of the paddock. Because in Formula One, it's never just about the drivers. It's about the image, the story, and the icons who walk beside them. And right now, the gold standard may be shifting. Reporting for the Scorecard, Sheila Salaysay, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Up next, Citron's surge or Charles' strength. Two teams with different stories. One game that might define both their seasons. Buckle up because tomorrow in Uncasville, somebody's about to leave a mark. So keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the Scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. All right, tomorrow in Uncasville, Mystics at Sun. And I gotta say, this one is sneaky fun. You've got Sonia Citron, who's quietly putting together one of the most ridiculous scoring seasons as a rookie in league history, going toe-to-toe with Tina Charles, who's basically been playing in the wind since Citron was in grade school. Rookie heat versus veteran fire. You can't script this better. Now, let's set the scene. These two teams just saw each other a couple of nights ago, and the Sun finally broke that brutal 13-game road losing streak. They walk into DC, they smack the Mystics 80-69, and suddenly Connecticut has a little juice again. Sania Rivers dropped 17. Olivia Nelson-Ododa was everywhere, 15-9. Couple hustle plays that completely flipped the energy. And Tina Charles, even at 36, she's still that steady double-double threat. Meanwhile, Citron had 19 and passed Shamik Holtzclaw for most points by a Mystics rookie. That's insane. Like, think about the names on that list. Citron is just slicing through defenses like she's been here for 5 years already. So here's the matchup. Washington is 16-19, clinging to that playoff picture, but they're basically the definition of a 500 Eastern Conference team. 8 wins, 8 losses. When the games are close, they're 5-8 in double-digit games. Translation, they don't put teams away. The Sun, on the other hand, are 7-27, but they've been playing people tough. 5 of their last 6 against the Mystics on the road, they've won. They make things ugly, and if Citron doesn't get help, we saw it last time, the Sun can grind this thing down. Now look at the numbers. The Sun are averaging about 78.5 points in the last 10 games. Mystics around 81.9. Neither of these teams are blowing anybody off the floor. It's going to come down to who makes the game-winning plays. Is it Citron hitting that one cold-blooded jumper, or Tina Charles just muscling her way inside with that old-school post-game? We'll have to wait around and see. So stay ahead of the game as the WNBA playoff push intensifies. Big matchups, bigger stakes. Here's your breakdown heading into tomorrow's action. And that's a wrap on our WNBA preview. Two teams chasing momentum. One game to prove who wants it more. The pressure's mounting. The energy's electric. So tune in, lock in, and keep your eyes on the prize. Before we go, think on this. From a multiple major championship title holder and Olympic gold medalist who has redefined consistency and excellence in women's golf, Nelly Corda once said, "The most important thing I can control is the work that I put in and the attitude that I have." And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow on the Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This is Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Good night.